Hi everyone, I'm Xander and welcome to my channel. I'm a poet, I'm a songsmith, and my channel is all about my creative process, the inspiration behind a piece, what that piece sounds like, and other things about the particular piece. I've always also just started putting on my channel some of the end results of some of the newer material that I've produced. Today's session is about a particular song I wrote called Sing Your Name, or I Sing Your Name into the Web. Sing Your Name. And so before I get into that, I would like to pay my respects to the Wadawurrung people, to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and to any other elders who might be watching this. This was, and always will be Aboriginal land. Sovereignty was never ceded. This is stolen land. So, Sing Your Name, or I Sing Your Name into the Web, came about in July 2020. So it was right at the heart of the first year of COVID. It was also the month that my father passed away. So the song that I Sing Your Name into the Web is a song about passing. It's a song about or intended to be sung when somebody has passed, or somebody is in your heart but they're not in your presence, and you're connecting with them in some particular fashion, or sending them off, depending on how you're singing, what's in your mind, what's in your heart when you're singing the piece. But it's basically a song between, I wrote it as a song between the living and the dead. It is a WildWood song, very specifically WildWood song. My heart is WildWood, and that's my tradition. My witchcraft tradition is WildWood, and I wanted a WildWood song that brought my spiritual peeps in on that particular journey. So, I mean, my dad passed in July, and so it seemed natural, being somebody who writes songs and poems, that I would therefore work on and draft something that aided my progress through that journey of death. And of course, in my belief system, I believe in life, death, and rebirth. And so death is part of a journey that sort of is never ending, because then we are reborn and we live life anew, and then we die again and again and again. And so the song goes something like this. Let me just bring up words. I sing your name into the web and watch it sink within the thread. See her hands weave you anew, over and under, around and through. I sing your name into the weird, all you loved and all you feared. Shining colors flowing free across the land, the sky and sea. I sing your name into the wood, the green, the grey, the cloak and hood. Watch it seed and root and grow, be part of us and all we know. Be part of us and all we know. So it's a relatively short song, but there's various components in it that relates to the sacred four of WildWood, to Weaver, the Weaver of Fates, to Our Lady, to our Lord, to our grandfather Green Man. I refer to our Lord as our Lord, but others in WildWood will refer to him as our Prince. Same person, just different perspective. So the song basically is connecting in with my sacred four peeps in order to send the dead forth on their journey of becoming born again. One of the reasons that I wrote it was because when I was looking at the existing works that I knew of in WildWood, I didn't see something there that I could use. It was also because I needed to craft something myself. And it also was part of, there was so much death around me. COVID was a heavy death year, that it just seemed to need to be written. And it wrote itself fairly quickly, like a lot of my songs. The divine will basically guide my hand and the song will just come out. Excuse me. So the song will basically just come out. And it's more about catching it. It was the same with that particular song, although there was an element of crafting about it. There was an inherent need. And so I put out a request and the request was answered. That's about the best way I can describe about how things like that come through. I put a request out, this is what I need, and then something will come through and I'll catch it as best I can and sing it as best I can. Now on my blog, there'll be a link to that below. On my blog, you will find a different version of the song. Hopefully it will have a better sound. Since COVID, my throat has not been the best. It's been scratchy most days. And since I broke my ribs, which I think I've mentioned multiple times now, it just means my breath work is not great. And I haven't worked through that sufficiently yet. So singing for me is harder than it used to be, but that doesn't mean I don't do it. That just means it's harder than it used to be. But I have an inherent need to sing. I have an inherent need to write poetry, to write song lyrics, and so I do. This year has been very heavy, death-wise for me. There's been several relations and kindred that I've either died this year or had the memorials this year or both. And so a song like Sing Your Name for me is a go-to song. It's something that I can light a candle for. I can sing the song with them in my head and send them out. And it's an action I can take. I'm an avid listener of a podcast by the name of The Guilty Feminist, Deborah Francis White. And something that she constantly will reinforce in that podcast is that it's all very well to have sort of ideas and notions of what we would like, but we need to put it into action. And as a witch, that's also very true. The whole point of witchcraft is to get something into something that you can action, that you can send out, that you can interact with, and that you have some kind of direct connection with. And this song is part of that kind of an action, that kind of a piece of working where that divine interconnection can occur, and it gives you something to do in relation to that, because you're singing. And you can light a candle, you can have photographs if that's your thing. or something that is associated with memory, to help the picture in your head, yeah, to get onto the air that's coming out in lyrics, in song words. The tune was intended to sort of flow like water, like the way that water is going downstream perhaps, but the way that water is flowing. And so that it flows out, and it doesn't flow at the same level. It flows at different levels. Therefore, the song has 3 different pitches, if you like, to help it go along its journey. And kind of like ripples. When you throw a stone into a pond, there are ripples, and the ripples at first are small, and then they go bigger and bigger and bigger. And so with this, it starts low and then goes higher and higher until that last one where it just sort of sinks. So if you wanted to do a ritual around it, it would be relatively straightforward. You could do something really simple. The lighting of a flame has such inherent magic in it anyway. The production of fire and the holding of fire in some kind of a container like a candle. And a candle has so many other things that you can do with it, should you wish to. I mean, if you wanted, you could etch that person's name into the candle wax, or you could put some kind of a scent, an essential oil perhaps, into the candle wax, so that when you light it, that particular scent comes off. The color of the candle, you can choose that so that it matches some particular message that you're wanting to send with it. I mean, you could use just a black candle for mourning, but you can also perhaps use like a green candle for regrowth. It would depend on what kind of association that you were having with that particular person and what you were wanting through singing the song. And of course, singing that kind of vocalization, that is moving energy. And so the song itself is moving energy in a particular way. The color of the candle, whether or not there is scent involved with that, whether or not there is something etched into the candle wax, all adds to that, depending on what additional flavor you want to add to it. If you wanted something that was very earthy and you wanted to just ground whatever it was because it was too airy, it was too in your head, and you needed it to pass through and down, then you might want to do something with earth colors and with earth scents to pull that in. Or if you're wanting to release through water, for example, even though you're using a candle flame, you could potentially use a blue candle. You could use a scent that you associate with water, so that while you're singing it, performing it through the candle is like an initial launch point for it to go through to water. And various things like that, depending on what it is that you want to do. If you want, you could even just sing it directly into land, sing it directly into water, putting it even into the air itself and not having anything else there is still sending the energy out and off into wherever it needs to go. I don't think there's anything much else to talk about that. See, if I did want to bring in more about the WildWood lore, I would say read the lyrics. The lyrics do contain references to the sacred flora in there. They're fairly self-evident, at least for me, looking into them. So you can basically see which one is about the weaver, because it talks about weaving. There's something where it talks about she and Our Lady as she. There's various other things in there for Prince and Green Man. You just need to look. And it's all about them holding the working, holding me, the person who is singing through that particular working, holding the essence of who I'm singing for. And the whole point of singing it into Weaver's web, so that Weaver can weave it anew, is we're sending it off into the sacred force hands. Weaver is going to weave it anew, weave them anew into some other form. And so it's like something that will hold you through the process. Don't think there's anything more to say on that particular piece. A lot of it is fairly straightforward and fairly self-evident for that particular piece. So hopefully you got something out of it. And till next time, bye.